everybody. I'm here. We're going to start in just a minute with Donny. I hope everyone can hear me from my chair. So I'm just going to start sitting over there and talking. And if you cannot hear me, please let me know. So, this is kind of far. I'm just bring it a little closer. So for anyone who's joining and hasn't seen any of the other Friends with Benefits episodes.
Did you add me? What up?
What do you mean add you?
Like on my live?
You'd have to put your phone up.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Oh, on here. So
Yeah,
people.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So if you're new to the Friends with Benefits series, what I'm doing is I'm interviewing a different friend each week that has some kind of beneficial information regarding wellness, whether it's physical, mental, or spiritual. Today we have Donny, who is a fitness trainer, and I'll let him do his intro in a little bit so he can tell you more about himself. But yeah, it's been really cool to do this series so far. Again, it's episode number 4. I actually know Donny back from high school, and we reconnected because of Instagram and because I saw what he was doing with his personal training journey. And I came for a session, and we got to talking, and it was just a really cool time because that was specifically when I was in a rut in my life. And he just got me, it was refreshing to talk to him and see his point of view and how motivated he was and consistent he was just generally in life. So it was really refreshing. And now we're here, invited to an interview. Do you want to introduce yourself for people who don't know you?
What's up, guys? My name is Donny Joshua. My first name is Donny Joshua. Last name Felix. I'm a fitness trainer, like Andrea said. I'm South Florida, born and raised. I went to school in Washington, D.C. to play soccer. Came back home and got hit with life, you know. But 4 or 5 years later, starting to be able to find my steps a little better, and I'm doing training. And I'm excited for this. It's going to be fun. So.
Okay, do you want to dive in or do you want to get started?
Let me see.
It's so hot out, but it's nice. I love it. I appreciate it. We almost did this inside, but I'm glad we're not because it's so nice out here. Just waiting. If anybody has questions, I would love it if you drop them and we can ask Donny. Also, if you have any ideas of who else you want to be seen interviewing, I know we've gone through different chronic disease. Roger talked about Crohn's. Next week I have a psychologist coming, so it's kind of all over the place, but all in the realm of wellness. So if you have any suggestions of other people that you want to hear from, let me know. And if you love this and you want to hear more from Donny after this, and we can make something else, maybe a workshop, something creative, also let me know.
Yeah, always bow.
Donny's always bow.
My DMs are always open.
Okay, I'm going to get started with questions.
That's fine.
Is that cool with you?
Yeah. Well. You never know. You might ask me some cool stuff.
Okay.
He should be over in a second. Sorry for the wait, guys.
It's cool. We'll get started. We'll get slow started.
Let's talk about Andrea. This is really cool that she's doing this, guys. You guys should definitely appreciate her and her efforts and try to support her as much as possible because it takes a lot of guts,
Don.
to put out your thoughts like that and not really care what people think. So let's give it up for Andrea one time. She's doing big things, and I can see all this going super far. So I'm super excited. It's not about me. This is about making
a learning experience.
Yeah, exactly. Putting a smile on somebody's face and encouraging somebody to want to,
do better.
Leave the past behind. Yeah, leave the past behind and do better.
Okay, so let's start slow stepping. I'm going to ask you. This question might be long. I know you kind of briefly touched upon it, but just if you want to explain to people your journey on how you got to become a personal trainer.
Give me a second. Let me make sure he's. Sorry.
Oh wait, it's cool, guys. Does anybody want to keep me company? Hey Karina. Hey Net. Or no, Net's not here yet. Hey Roman. What's up, guys? Just waiting. Can do a little dance for you. Oh, you know what? While we're waiting, this outfit, if you like, I hope you do, is from my friend Daniela. The brand is called Myself First, I believe. I hope I'm not messing that up. Super cute stuff. She tie-dyes. This one's not tie-dyed, but she has a line where she tie-dyes her different fitness clothes. Just go to her page. Thanks, Karina. I'm so glad you love the outfit. Guys, I'm literally gonna end the live. I should probably end this and start over. Or I could just show you Donnie's backyard. Let me be Mithila. I'm gonna show you Donnie's backyard. So he hasn't really gotten into it yet, but he's a fitness trainer that he actually works at a gym, and he also does stuff from his home. I'm telling people your business.
Oh, good.
Because it's taking long. So
that looks like there's questions.
no, there's not. It's just people hopping on saying they like my outfit.
Yeah.
So cute. Thanks, Lisa.
Alright, we can start. Ivan is ready.
Oh, never mind. Nobody gets to see your backyard.
I don't mind. Let them see the palace.
Okay, let me just do it real quick.
Go ahead, yeah.
Very fun turf.
Welcome.
This is Ivan that we were waiting for.
I do, Ivan.
While Ivan gets that cotton ball on, I'm just going to show inside real
The
quick.
lighting's super good over here, guys, if you need a gym with good lighting.
We got that. We got the space in here. Can you tell I'm killing time? Okay. Is this good? Okay. You guys give me your green light. Just let me know when you're ready.
We're ready.
Okay, so again, Donnie, if anybody has hopped on and missed the beginning, this is Donnie. He's a fitness trainer, episode 4 on Friends with Benefits series. Could you give us however extensive of a version you want of how your journey came about to today where you are a fitness trainer? What led you to that?
Soccer. Soccer 100%. Played soccer since, I would say maybe 10, 11. Joined West Pines at the age of 12, or 11, actually 11, U12. Played all the way up to U18. Played in high school. Moved to DC. Played in DC. After finishing school, I was trying to play soccer professionally. The last 5 years, going on tryouts, getting injured, getting cut, going to tryouts, not even being at the level I wanted to be at, but just because it came out of nowhere and I was trying to get ready. And then eventually I thought about training before, and then randomly one day I think my dad told me, or my aunt said she needed a trainer. And I was waiting for the right time to start. I wanted to get certifications and whatnot, but my dad was just like, just do it. And I did. I started training her. And like I said, before that, I was already kind of paying attention to it, but that's a short synopsis of how, how I got to becoming a trainer from soccer. Soccer was my lifestyle. And I would say, like, every parent or legal guardian to a youth, a kid, a boy, a girl, should have them in sports. It teaches you a lot. It changes your life. You become a different person. It holds you accountable from a younger age, makes you competitive, teaches you discipline, commitment, what hard work can bring you, how to work together with other people.
I agree.
So like, it doesn't have to be soccer, but you should be doing something that's getting you to use your mind in other ways, and like I said, build relationships from a young age. Soccer definitely is the reason why any of this is happening.
Love that. Do you still play?
I do. I mean, not consistent, honestly, not consistent. I train kids, younger kids for soccer.
Oh, okay.
Cool story, because we both went to charter. I trained Miss Battle, Miss Allen's son.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's 5. Epic's really cool. Shout out to Epic. But
his name is Epic.
Right, exactly. I love that. I always tell him that. But I don't play as much these days because I'm a lot busier. And I think also after I tried playing pro till all the way up to the pandemic started. I was 26.
Recent.
Yeah. I never stopped. Last time I was like forced to stop, and then I became more immersed into training, and I kind of finally found peace at moving on from that. And I think naturally I took a lot of time away from it. I kind of wanted to distance myself from soccer because that's all I was doing. That was my main concern. And it was just like, taking some time, really, like, to, I guess, heal from it. Just like accepting, dang, maybe I'm not going to become the professional soccer player that I thought I was going to become. And like I said, training was able to, it helped me to ease into it, because I felt like since college, my life was like a big off season, the longest off season I would call it, because it's like I was preparing for a season that never came, but that is what made it become lifestyle, running every day, spending once a day at a track every day, or spending time working on my game. And I just learned a lot of life lessons through that time. I was alone a lot. I was alone for everything, you know?
Yeah.
I was always training by myself. Sometimes I had friends and whatnot. They would come one day, but for the most part, it was me by myself, either in the morning or at nighttime at the track or in the gym, just thinking about when I was going to get my next opportunity to try to sign a contract.
That makes a lot of sense to why you're so goal-oriented. From what I know about you now, you seem like a really driven person. Which brings me to my next question. As a really goal-oriented person, what personal fitness goals do you have for yourself?
For myself, my biggest concern right now is becoming a trainer at DVC. Mm-hmm. I'm interning there now. It's a gym in the design districts. Not districts. Where they train a lot of the top professional athletes in the world. My goal is to become a trainer there. I'm close. It's crazy. I'm close. Super close. But that's my main fitness goal. Maybe personally, I like to run a lot. You might know. I want to run a marathon at a really fast pace, maybe 2:45, under 3 hours for sure. And I want to do it in different cities. I want to run in different cities. And I want to kind of bring that challenge I had up last year.
Tell them about it. I love that challenge.
I want to bring the Run With Me challenge back up. Because during that time when it was COVID, but a lot of people from all over the country were telling me like, yo, if you have a day or whatnot, I'll fly in and stuff. It got, that was a cool time. I want to do that. I would love to make that go global. Have a Run With Me challenge day in different cities and get people to run with me. Just about competitive team spirit. Not even competitive, just team
community.
Spirit. Yeah, I'm not. Yeah. It's not about running fast. If you want to run fast, you can run fast. If you want to run slow, I'd want everybody to be in front of me. And everybody cross the line. Make sure everybody crosses the line. So that's maybe the only two things. When I always said when I was older I would have a gym in my house. I didn't know it would be this house. I meant my own. But I want to do that. Have one in my actual house that I always have access to if I want. But I have a lot of things that I want to accomplish.
Yeah,
so,
I could tell.
Yeah.
How do you? So this is two questions which might have the same answer for you, might be different.
Oh, good.
Part one is how do you keep yourself motivated, and part two is how do you keep your clients motivated?
Myself, I think you keep your eyes on people who inspire you, people who are doing great things, people who show you consistency on a daily basis. But it also has to be inside it. You have to want it. Like I said, it could have came from sports, but here's a quote that I heard at a seminar last year. Your level of exposure determines your level of success. Your level of exposure determines your level of success.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, it's by Jamal King. It's a good guy I follow on Instagram. Pretty cool dude. I learned a lot from him about real estate and life. But the more you see, the more you know it's out there. So if you know it's out there, you'll be more inclined to want to chase after it. But if you only see one thing, if you only know what you've been exposed to, then you might not be driven to want to chase after stuff. Thankfully, because of sports, because of the school I went to Howard University, met a lot of cool people, saw people doing great things. I knew once I started learning about the history of Howard, I heard about a lot of the celebs who came there who were students just like me, and that was always super motivating. And like I said, I think surrounding yourself around people who are, even if they're not doing big things in the moment, that's in their intentions. They're aspiring to try to be great. And for me, like I said, I've seen a lot. My dad was a musician. He had a lot of friends who, his best friend, I think, probably was the earliest exposure to me to what it meant to be extremely talented. Not even talented, good at something. And doing it on a consistent basis. He's a drummer. He's a drummer from New York. He's from Miami, born and raised down here. He went to school in New York, and he's probably top 10 drummers right now in the world. He doesn't have social media or anything. He has YouTube, and I'm actually gonna put up a link. Well, I had planned on putting up a link for him to expose, because a lot of people might not know, I've been a musician all my life, as much as soccer.
I didn't know that.
It was just up until college where it was harder. I basically ended up choosing soccer and kind of moving away from music a little. There was a lot of reasons for that, but I lost kind of track where we're
You're good. That's very true and a good point, and something that I learned recently as well, like how important it is to surround yourself with people that you are either like-minded or where you want to be.
Right.
And I didn't realize how important that was until recently. And it's weird because it almost sounds like common sense, but at least for me, it wasn't so common. But I learned that most recently, like with Instagram specifically, and like curating what I see on my feed, you know, like making sure it's like people that I want to be like or have similar goals, like what you're saying.
So maybe a year ago or sometime, and I don't want this to sound like rude or arrogant, on my IG, I muted a lot of people. Whether it was because I just felt like if you weren't adding some type of value, if you weren't making me laugh, you weren't motivating me, other things that I don't want, it might sound bad, so I'm just not going to say it, but I didn't want to unfollow anybody because one, you know, I just, at the time, just don't want to see.
Yeah, and that's okay.
Your stuff pop up on my, you know, but I still want that connection.
Yeah.
And just also, I'm in a business of, you know, knowing as much people as possible.
Yes.
Because without this sounding like, you know, oh, it's my life. Any person can be a client, you know, turn into a client. But I had to block. I wanted to see. I unfollowed all celebs. I unfollowed the Shade Room. It didn't do anything for me. I realized. I started following motivational speakers, pages that were teaching me stuff. So it's like, because I knew I was spending a lot of time on Instagram, and for me at least, it's needed for my profession. But if I didn't need it for my profession, I would a long time ago put it away.
Yeah. Because
I realized how much time I was spending on it, how much time I was wasting on it. But I wanted to turn it into, I wanted to figure out a way to use it and get something for it. So that's why I said I started following certain people, unfollowing people. And at one point I was like, dang, I forgot this celeb. It's like, you know, when they come, I'm like, dang, this person's alive type stuff. I'm just like, you know, we put a lot of, focus into other people's lives. And that does nothing for you. Like, you know, you only have one life, you should be putting as much as focus into yourself.
100%.
So I had to do that, you know, just block off negativity. I was super negative growing up for a lot of external reasons, but it doesn't matter, you know. But moving away to school, and then, you know, just not necessarily being satisfied with my life outside of soccer, I had to look back at myself, kind of like, you know, understand why I was where I was. I wasn't like, you know, I didn't take school seriously, honestly, from high school or college. It was just all soccer. I was like, I didn't have to take school seriously. I'm going pro. And I always knew pro wasn't, you know, it wasn't basketball, NBA, NFL type pro, but to me, it didn't matter, you know, pro. And I was like, if I got in, I'll work my way up to the MLS, and I could live off that money and do stuff with it. But when pro wasn't going well, you know, injuries and life hits you, you know, and you start thinking back to people who are like saying, yeah, what are you going to do? Like, you know, when people who ask you, like, what about plan B and stuff like that, it's like, damn, like, am I really going to let these people be right? Like, you know?
Yeah.
Like, because a lot of times I was like, all right, well, let me figure out, try to get a job. But because I, like I said, didn't take school serious, I didn't really have too many options. So another thing people might not know, for the last 4 or 5 years, I was a substitute teacher at almost, like a bunch of different schools in South Florida. American Heritage, Charter, a lot of inner city schools, Driftwood was my last one. And there, I think, is where I kind of found a lot of my growth, because I picked that job because I knew, one, I had to do a lot of catching up from school. I was, for me, you know, we call it finessing, whatever. That's what I was doing.
Yeah.
At the end of college, when, you know, I was thinking outside of soccer, I'm like, dang, all that finessing, getting by, paying people to do stuff, only hurt yourself. You know? And it's like, it's not, you know, at the time, you look back, you're laughing, you know, you're, you know, just never studying. People are telling you they're going to the iLab library. You're looking at them like, okay, have fun, type stuff, and whatnot. And it's just like, it's humbling, super humbling.
Yeah.
I didn't, you know, who wants to be substitute teaching after you went to school and stuff? You have friends who are doing big things, and no knock to any substitute. Like I said, substitute teaching changed my life, because I knew I had 8 hours every day, and I knew I didn't want to be on my phone those 8 hours.
Yeah.
So I started reading, you know, I started every day, you know, getting to work, on the way to work, listening to motivational stuff. And before work, because during this entire time I was trying to play professionally, before work I would either wake up at 5, go run, hit the gym, shower, maybe train a client if I had time, then go to work, then get off, and then either train a client, or if I didn't work out that morning, I'd go to like the hills or the track after work to train and stuff. And that just kind of been my lifestyle, training and then learning. I did a lot of self-development, you know, kind of trying to, I guess, reprogram the mind, change my perceptions, my thoughts, just like I said, spending a lot of time alone. I picked subbing too because I like being around kids. I have a lot of cousins. I was always around kids. I didn't want to do anything where I'd literally be looking at the time, you know?
Yeah.
That's not fun. Kids make me laugh. Kids, you know, and they treat you, and this is not why I did it, but they treat you like a celeb. It's funny that, you know, if I wore this to school, this outfit, every kid would be drooling. And not like that, you know, that Mr. Felix, drip this, drip that.
Yeah, and you're young.
Yeah, I'm just like, that guy, shut up. Like, I have a white shirt and some white shoes. Like, but it's funny, and that taught me how much influence I had on them.
Yeah.
And whatnot. And hearing a lot of, you know, you met good kids, you met misunderstood kids, and everybody, all kids, you know, sometimes have the same mindset, whether it was the private schools or the inner city schools. And I just remembered a lot about my time in school. I got in trouble a lot from middle school all the way up into high school. A lot of people don't know. Mm-hmm. I think it had to do with the stuff that was going on at home. Yeah. But I wasn't a disrespectful kid, but I just liked to be around all the kids who were laughing and playing around. Yeah. From when I was young. I was at Pines Middle, was in Broward, then high school, I was at Michael Crop for 2 years. I got kicked out of that school. I was in the magnet program there. I got kicked out I had bad grades. School was super hard. And then I got kicked out one day for messing around. Literally, it was my conduct. And my name was known, you know, with the principals and stuff like that. So it was like my last straw type thing. I was already on probation. They kicked me out. I had to go to Norland for like 6 weeks. It's not too far from my house. That was a tough time for me growing up. But luckily, Charter came to save my life. And I went there for the last 2 years. But so just, it brought me back to all those times. Kind of got me questioning why I acted the way I did. Yeah. How could I, you know, be a better influence to these kids? You know, they test your patience a lot, especially in the inner city schools. And a lot of times they got the best of me. But one day I had to realize, especially with this one kid, I'm like, I don't know what he has going on at home. I don't know what he's seeing outside. I don't know what's making him act the way he's act. But me, you know, answering back with a loud voice and just trying to like use my superiority over him wasn't working. You know, it just made him want to be more. Yeah. You know, and like I said, he got me out of character. But the next day, after thinking about it, I went back and apologized. I'm like, I'm the man. I'm the one who's seen life. I apologize. And I said, look, let me know, you know, if you ever need to talk and whatnot. I admitted that I was wrong, and he was wrong too. But I don't know if he said sorry, but after that, he stopped acting the way, you know, he stopped trying to give me problems. He actually, you know, when the class got loud, he would try to tell the kids to be quiet and stuff like that. You know, he tried to get them under control, and he taught me a lot. I'm just like, wow, you can't change anybody else, but you can change yourself and how you treat other people, and that can change them. Yeah. And just, kids need, you know, a good mentor. If there was certain stuff I heard growing up, my mindset would have been a lot better. And I think through subbing, it taught me a lot of purpose. My dad's a teacher. That's another reason too. I subbed. I seen it. I grew up around it. I think it gave me purpose. I want to motivate everybody, but definitely the younger kids. If they can start implementing a lot of the habits that I implemented that changed me, everything I do, a 10-year-old can do. A 9-year-old can do. There's 9 and 10-year-olds doing it every day. Yeah. Every kid should have an opportunity, you know? It's just teaching them from a young age about discipline, about habits, about, you know, respecting time, about, you know, being in the moment, being now. You know, our memories are based on a certain time and space that was now at one point, you know? Yeah. Once you kind of understand that, you're like, oh, let me be as present as possible. Like, now is going by, like, every second. Yeah. So that time really, like, kind of, like, changed my life. Like, outside of substitute teaching on the weekends, I was babysitting. I was like, go out and spend money or go babysit, be able to study, and make money. It was an easy decision. And that's what I did for, like, these last 4 or 5 years. If you talk to me, you might know. Yeah. If you don't, you would think maybe for a certain amount of time I was just trying to play pro. Yeah. Now I know when you see I was training. I didn't really put up that I was in school and stuff. But yeah, these last years I was around a lot of kids. I coach at American Heritage too. So, like I said, I found purpose. I know what I'm trying to do, what I'm trying to accomplish, and stuff. So
that's awesome. I love that. So just to reiterate, I'm kind of backtracking a little bit, but if that resonated with you, it's okay, and I think it's a healthy boundary to go and clean up your feed. Follow on social media the people that inspire you and remove who doesn't, but also do that in real life too. I think Donny has made it a really good example of what that can do in terms of changing your life and finding your purpose. I think that's like the most important thing that there is. But to change gears a little bit and kind of focus more on your physical training and your clients, First thing I wanted to ask you in that aspect was what the most common error is that you see in people who are training without a personal fitness trainer.
I don't think there's necessarily a most common error. It's just more so you don't know what you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever taught you, is that's what you're going based off of. And if that person was going more so based off of experience, then there's a chance that what they taught you may not be right.
Yeah.
But that's all you know.
Mm-hmm.
It just depends how serious you take your health. There's certain levels of training, There's people who do it for fun, there's people who do it as a hobby, and there's people who make extremely good money from training. I think it's more so how much you invest in yourself. But back to answer your question, it's not necessarily a common error. If we talk about general areas, if I, 9 times out of 10, most gyms I'm going to go into, people are not squatting right, they're not deadlifting right. A lot of people are on machines, sitting down and whatnot. It's a lot of sedentary lifestyles,
Okay.
It's like you leave home to go to the gym, but now you're on the I don't know what the machine
The
is called.
elliptical?
Elliptical.
Okay.
Or you're sitting down and whatnot. Granted, you're still making the effort,
Mm-hmm.
but that's what I would say. It's not an error. It's more so
Like form.
not even a form. It's this generation. We are lazy. So there's no error. Like I said, we're lazy, or we're just going off experience that may have not been right. It's not too often you go in gyms and you see people properly squatting, lunging, bending, or doing any exercise right. So that would answer your question.
So, my next question is a little complicated. Let's see if I can vocalize it the right way. I know, for example, for me, like, I would love a personal trainer, but
Yeah.
money always comes into question.
Right.
Even though if you think about it, certain gyms where they offer classes can be just as expensive, if not more, than having
Yeah,
a personal
100%.
trainer.
So I think, did you say your question?
Well, I mean, it's kind of, you're kind of biased, but the question was just going
No,
in
I
terms
get
of,
what you're saying. So it's expensive, but I just think it just depends on your priorities. Like
Mm-hmm.
if you just take a step back and look at everything you're paying for, you're spending money on something that could go towards yourself.
Mm-hmm.
For everybody, I think everybody should be active. Being active outside of your looks, it makes you mentally sharper. It allows you to have energy throughout the day. If you have that energy, you're able to put more effort. If you put in more effort, you'll get more results. But it all starts, just how active you are. Like if your body's used to sitting down a lot, you're teaching yourself to, feel sluggish and whatnot. You're not moving your muscles. So when you do start to work out, it is sometimes maybe a harder transition. And that's kind of people, if you don't have a trainer who's taking you through the proper warm-ups, who's teaching you how to work out right, so one, it's a pain-free experience,
Yeah.
which is a lot of reasons why people struggle, They try to do something, they're squatting, like I said, or doing something at a heavy weight, and boom, something hurts. Now it's like, I need to sit out type vibes. But it's like I said, it's your priority. Granted, it's expensive, but if you start going into these gyms and you see what the gyms are charging clients to train, it makes sense. Like that trainer at UFit, LA Fitness, or whatever gym, Crunch Fitness, that you see training you or see training a client, he might be making $27 an hour, but the gym charged that person $100 an hour or $120, $150. That's why
It's crazy.
and yeah, it's a lot. But once you get exposed to that kind of training, and if you can afford it, you never go back. And not even if you can afford it, if you figure out how to afford it.
Yeah.
The place I'm interning at, DBC, trainers charge a lot there. When I first found out about them, I went to a seminar, and then I ended up taking a course maybe a couple months later. The course was a lot of money, but I knew I wanted to learn. Like I saw the guys they were training, and I could understand to a certain extent that they were doing the right things. I wanted to train with one of the trainers bad, but at the time I couldn't afford it. It's over $100 per hour to train with those trainers. You pay per session, but I figured I figured out a way. My first training experience before even DBC was $40 per session, $120 per week. That to me was that was super expensive. I was going around to me asking people for $1 million to train. That was my first exposure to it. It was probably like $480 for the month, and that was a lot to me. But I did it because it's something I wanted to do. I was trying to play professionally, and I was trying to switch things up, from being on my own to working with somebody. That was my first exposure. But like I said, DBC, I really wanted to learn what they were teaching. So I had to spend a lot of money. Last summer, training there, I spent over $2,000 in 2.5 months.
Yeah.
And it's worth it. It's a different type of training. I perform better after. I move better. I feel better. I learn things about my body. I learn, just how to do everything. There's a next level. There's another level to it. At DBC, it's the next level of training. It's the highest level of training. But back to your question, not to get off the topic, it just depends what that person's priority is. Are you really trying to see goals? Are you trying to train pain-free? Are you trying to recover from an injury?
Yeah.
And whatnot? All that stuff costs money. People look at training as an expense, but it's not an expense. It's an investment.
Oh my God! I wrote that.
Yeah, literally, it's not. It's an investment.
I wanted to say that.
You're working with people 9 times who was an athlete, gone through a lot, and probably gone through a lot of the problems you went through. But as an athlete, you're able to go through problems. You got beat down a lot and had to get back up.
Mm-hmm.
If you weren't an athlete, sometimes you probably didn't go through those type of things and whatnot. So it just depends. There's a lot of reasons why you should train with a trainer. But if you feel like you're fine on your own, you're fine.
Yeah.
But if any of you guys are interested in training with me, I'm actually working on some packages to get exposed to more people and be able to train more people at a rate that people will be able to afford. So don't be discouraged about whatever I was saying.
And what's funny is, like, hearing you say that, I feel like it makes more sense in my head in terms of, like, at least if you're beginning or haven't ever had personal training, like, you should at least start there. Like, I don't think that needs to necessarily mean that that's, like, the only way you train for the rest of your life. But if you've never had that, like, personalized correction of form or, like, lesson, then that's where, like, what you're saying, the pain comes in and you start, like, taking time off, and then it's a struggle to get back in.
If you're doing things wrong, you might be, hurting yourself in the long term.
I know that happened to me. Like, when I started off with CrossFit, and they give you, like, I think it's like 3 intro courses that you do, and then they let you, like, join their classes. Right. And not to knock CrossFit down, but again, it's like depends on what your level is.
Yeah, and everybody's competing at the same level. I mean, you're competing at people. I've been to CrossFit classes. At 9 times out of 10 the CrossFit class, I'll be at the head of the class. But there's people, you're watching people struggle. Mm-hmm. And granted, that's just a part of it. But I've trained people who have CrossFit, and they're like, yeah, it's harder. It's harder to monitor 20 people, making sure they're doing the right thing. So it's not, like you said, not a knock to CrossFit, but if you're looking for individualized training, CrossFit's not it. Or if you're trying to, train at your pace, learn how your body moves, group settings are not for you.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was something I was gonna say, but I forgot. So
that's okay. But yeah, definitely if I can think of, like, at least personally my journey, anytime that I took time off of my fitness journey where it's been like months that I haven't exercised, it 100% was because I would get injured in some way. Like, my knee started hurting, so I took time off, and it just turned into months off.
Yeah, exactly.
Or my back, or...
And if you think about it, you said beginners needed more, but think about the top professional athletes, even after they finish playing, continue to have a trainer. I hate working out on my own.
Yeah.
Unless, not unless, I don't hate working out, but I'm human.
Yeah. And
a lot of the days, 9 times out of 10, I have to force myself to do it. When I have a trainer, it's less thought. You're telling me what to do, let's go. That's why I run a lot more than... Well, these days it's been more working out than running, but normally that's the reason why running I'll do, because it's no thinking. I just put some shoes on, put my headphones in, and I'm gone. I don't have to warm up. I don't have to... Now that I understand working out a little more, I don't have to pay too much attention to my form, because it's...
Now it's second nature.
Yeah, exactly. But it's just, like, if you're seeking the highest level, you want to... Like, a lot of people are working out these days. They're strong, whatever. The looks look good, but it's like a house with no foundation. I can bring a lot of the strongest guys in the gym through a session, and not in a, like I said, cocky way, but you'll get exposed because you only worked on benching. You were only doing things that build isolation. You weren't using multiple muscles at the same time. You weren't mimicking life situations. Most times people go to gyms, they're working out on machines. Machines strip every need to keep your center of balance over your body. You don't have to use proprioception, have to engage your core, have to turn on certain muscles. So like I said, a lot of times you'll see somebody who looks strong, but there's no foundation under it. Or they're big and whatnot, but they've lost all range of motion because they only focus on the front side of their body. Or they were doing something wrong. So now, their body's misaligned or lopsided, or they have the knee braces or the back braces and whatnot, and they continue to do the stuff wrong because they don't know.
Yeah.
You know, all you were taught growing up is no pain, no gain. That's false. If there's pain, that means you're doing something wrong. Working out should be a pain-free experience. And if people understood that, they would see why it's important to go to a trainer. There's a lot to learn. You know, people come here and it's more me talking than taking them through something. One, because I have to teach them a lot of stuff. It's like unlearning and learning again.
Yeah.
So, hope that
so
answered your
good.
question.
No, it definitely did. That was like literally my favorite answer. The session that I came, I don't want to say that I'm by no means any kind of like fitness person.
She killed it. She's not one of the people I'm talking about.
No, it's not that. But I'm trying to get at is that like it's been a long time that I've like tried different forms of fitness. So I'm familiar at least with my body and its range of motion and all that. Or so I thought I was. But for the session that I came, you had me doing something to work out my back, and I literally felt muscles I didn't know existed.
Right.
And I was like, I'm not even like a beginner or a novice that to where I didn't know this simple thing. So everything that you were saying has super truth to it. Next question I have for you is between physical fitness and nutrition, if you felt like you had to pick one that was more important to address first, what would you choose or have to say?
If we're talking about numbers, how you look, how you feel has 70% to do with your nutrition, 30% to do with what you're doing with your body. You can maintain a whatever body, a good body, and that's how it depends on how you define good. You can maintain a healthy body just off of eating the proper way, stretching, and hydration, and proper sleep and recovery. The working out is a plus, but you know, you could be working out and not sleeping, not eating properly, not hydrating properly, and now you have injuries, or you know, you don't have energy throughout the day. You're not even able to put the best effort you're putting in working out, because it's like a car. Who cares if you have a nice car if there's no engine to drive it? You know, like it doesn't matter how nice it is if there's no foundation to get it moving. And to get it moving properly, everything is working. Then you know that kind of sums up your answer. It's like a car without fuel.
Yeah, there you have it. I'm gonna circle back a little bit if you can. I know you talked about how hand in hand it was for like you to mentally grow and also grow through your fitness journey.
Yeah.
Personally, what connection did you make to that? To your fitness and your mental health.
The fitter I was, whenever I was in my best shape, life always mimicked that. Whenever I was not in good shape, not working out on a consistent basis, not eating the best, not hydrating as much, life mirrored that. And these last 4 or 5 years, I went up and down in fitness. AKA, I also went up and down in mental health. Just had a lot of hard times, literally. So now I empathize heavy with people who go through things, which is everybody. But I look at life different. You know, if I could be the reason somebody takes a step back, you know, and decides to try again, I feel better. It doesn't kill you to say good morning. We have a bunch of stupid stigmas. I'm not a morning person, this and that. I'm not friendly. I was, you know, all that stuff I used to like maybe agree with or just didn't kind of say anything about, but now it's just like, it's lame. You know, it's like, grow up. You know, people go through stuff, like be nice to somebody, like, or just don't say anything. And me, like I said, granted, I wasn't like a bad person. I wasn't, you know, cursing people out, but I wasn't the friendliest person always. I sometimes maybe picked and choose, or I didn't make everybody around me feel the nicest. And like I said, it was all because of my own insecurities, and that's how I, you know, showed it. But nowadays, I want anybody I come into contact with to leave feeling happy, to feel motivated, inspired to, like I said, chase after whatever the dreams that have been placed on their heart. Because why not? You know, I found a lot of peace, and I hope as much as possible to bring it to as many people as I want. I mean, as many people as possible. My goal is to tell my story to like a big audience. You know, I always say like Oprah and stuff like that. And I know a lot of that stuff can happen. You just got to keep speaking it and adding value to others. I like where I'm going. I like where I've gotten to so far. I'm by far not done, but I've learned a lot to know that, you know, whatever you want in life, you could get it. So
yeah, love it. Let me just see if anybody has questions before I hit you with my closing questions. Investing in yourself, good. No questions. Okay, so before we close, I just want to ask if you could give people advice 3 pieces of advice. Advice for people who have not yet started but want to start a fitness journey, their fitness journey. The second piece of advice is for people who are kind of on and off, and after maybe listening to this are itching to get back on the train. And also for anybody out there who is contemplating or considering becoming a personal trainer themselves.
Okay. Number 1 was what? The fitness journey?
Yeah, so like someone who's a beginner, like a novice who hasn't done any fitness.
I mean, I think for all people, take it one day at a time. Try to learn as much as possible. If you're looking for guidance, hit me up. My DMs, like I said, are always open. For the most part, I respond to every DM, regardless if I know you or not. Like I said, I'll help as much as possible. Maybe we can work together. I even offer you a session if you want to come through, just see how things are. But take it one day at a time. Be your best friend. You know, it's all what you're saying to yourself in your head. So try to be as positive as possible. If you feel like you're struggling at something, one thing that helped me a lot this year and last year, the power of writing and journaling, but this year specifically, just writing certain stuff down. If I feel like there was something I didn't have, or something I wanted to be, I'd write it down. For example, 2 things I wrote: I'm focused and I'm confident. In the last 5 years, I've gone up and down in confidence. I know how I want to be. I know how I want to walk around, and I've learned 2, confidence is everything. You could, not know anything about something, but you are confident. Now you have people believing you. Whatever you tell yourself, people are going to believe. You walk around telling yourself, I'm ugly, I'm ugly, I'm ugly. There's not one girl who's going to stop you and tell you otherwise. But you've seen multiple times, maybe not the most attractive person who walks with his chest out, and he just will go up to any person and strike up a conversation. People attract to that. The greatest people in this world, they're shy, but they're confident in something. And like I said, write it down. If you're trying to become somebody who goes to the gym, write down every day I go to the gym and work out for 30 minutes or an hour. Write it down so much that you get yourself to believe it and you have no choice but to do it. Other ways to trick yourself into going to the gym. Buy new nice gym clothes. Buy some nice, get excited. Give yourself a reason to get excited. Get a membership. If you have a membership and you still don't go, walk into the gym. If you don't do it that day, cool. Next day, walk again. Take a round, say hello to somebody. Boom. You do that enough times, one day you're going to end up on a machine, end up on a treadmill, and you're going to be in your nice clothes, so you might work out. Type stuff. But, yeah, so it's just really what you're telling yourself in your mind. You can literally make yourself believe anything about yourself. Write it down. Say it every day. Put it up on your walls. Listen to motivating things. Or hit me up. I'll motivate you. I got you.
I feel like that's solid advice for all 3. I don't know if it would be any different for someone who's trying to be a personal...
Same thing. If you're trying to be a trainer, hit me up. I've learned a lot, the ups and downs. I would 100% take the DBC Level 1 course after you've getting some background of science. You want to know, about the body, different body parts. But like I said, hit me up. I'll tell you how I did it, give you advice, help you as much as I can. I think the biggest thing too with anything, you gotta be willing to invest in yourself. Spend money. I have credit cards still that I haven't paid back yet over courses or equipment that I bought in the last 4 or 5 years to just try to get better. You gotta continually, every day, just be trying to get better. Life is repetition. You're doing something every day. We do something every day. We wake up every day and maybe go to work every day. Whatever you do every day, you become. The greatest people at life are the people who are good at doing something every day. Doing one thing, pick it. Pick one small thing, tell myself, hey, I want to do 10 push-ups every day. Start doing that, now you're like, oh, that feels good, I see progress. Now your mind's working different. You're like, all right, I want to brush my teeth every day. Bam, bam, bam. Ooh, your breath smells good, After a couple, that's a bad example, but habit stack. You work on something, you master it, you add something else. Now you're good at 2 things. But master something. Work on your consistency. Work on waking up early. Work on going to sleep at the same time. One thing that was a big change for me is when I started waking up at 5 to go run. That taught me that waking up is not the hard part. It's going to sleep at the same time. That's the real discipline, because that's what makes waking up easy. Once I was able to go to sleep at 9:39, I realized I'm like, yo, you're not missing anything but a couple more text messages that could be answered the next day, or a show that could be watched the next day, or something that could wait till tomorrow. Your rest is the most important thing. That's the biggest thing to being good at anything in life, great at anything, is that you're able to give the same effort every day or better, and you're not going to be able to do that without the proper rest. So
that's good. I know you're a busy guy. I know you're a serious guy, clearly. So I thank you so much for taking your time to do this. I really appreciate it. Do you have any last words for the people?
Hit me up, guys, if you need anything. We got some cool content coming from this. And
I'll drop your info so everyone can.
We're gonna work again. Me and Andre are gonna create some
up.
cool stuff.
Have a nice day, everybody. We'll see you soon. Holla.